I did want to talk about this as far as the Red Wings go. And we talked about kind of new money hockey media in this town, Flannel. There are a lot of people, talking about the Red Wings now and trying to fill that void. But I just wanted to remind everybody of this. You remember when, and this was recent, last year trade deadline, Steve Yzerman, we were never going to be buyers. We weren't good enough to be buyers. Remember when he said that?
I do.
Yep.
And remember people's reaction to that.
I didn't love it either myself, I'll admit it, but go on.
Right. And remember this. For the how does it take 5 years to turn something around crowd. Remember this. We went through the numbers before. The Franz Nielsen making $6 million on your cap to not play. Remember those times, everybody. And there are a lot of you in this town that owe Steve Yzerman an apology. You absolutely do. And here's the why on it. You question the moves he didn't make. You question his philosophies. But look at it now. Safe to say, 19 was right. I think that's pretty safe to say. And I'll take that a step further. How about this? He got a first-round pick for Tyler Bertuzzi. Tyler Bertuzzi, who has 7 goals this year for Toronto, who's going to choke in the playoffs. He got a first-round pick for that guy. Remember that, everybody. And went and got you DeBrincat, which is what unlocked Larkin. Mm-hmm. Moves on moves on moves. The right moves all the way across the board. The farm system, stocked right now. The goalies, they're coming. Pause. The goalies are on their way. You owe them an apology. And you know who you are out there. I'm not talking to everybody, but you know who you are out there. A lot of you, especially in the new hockey media, you owe Steve Yzerman an apology. Because he did it before, he had a resume, and he's running the playbook. The best GMs, the best executive in sports, they have a playbook. It's not even hard. They go in and they run the same playbook. And that's exactly what Steve Yzerman has done here with Detroit. And now it's paying off. Now they're going to the playoffs. So go ahead and say it. Hey, Steve Yzerman, well, it'll take 5 years for somebody to get to the playoffs. You owe the man an apology. You know who you are. And you can lie to me and say it wasn't you, but damn it, don't lie to yourself. You know who you are. You owe 19 an apology.
Can I because I will give that apology because I was critical of some things. Can I give one quick caveat to paraphrase my good friend Darren McCarty? If we're going to go off the premise that the Red Wings are going to hold on and make the playoffs, which I believe they will, then 100% I have to apologize to Steve Yzerman because with the moves that have been made, and some of the moves already started with the draft picks of Mo Seider and Lucas Raymond, which have both turned out swimmingly, I would say, at least as of right now. But to me, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the moves that were made, and I've touched on it before, to completely revamp this offense into one of the best in the league, getting DeBrincat in the offseason, trading for DeBrincat, signing Patrick Kane, and even some of those under-the-radar ones, like JT Compher, who's on pace to maybe set his career high in points, and Daniel Sprong, who's on pace to set his career high in points. That is the reason why this team is good ultimately. And I understand that last night was a great example of the defense and the goaltending actually showing up. And there's other examples of that, like the game versus Philly and the game versus Tampa Bay, games that the Red Wings also won. But those moves, some of the big splash ones like DeBrincat, but even the ones that we kind of were, I don't know, a little meh about, like a Sprong and Compher, are also paying big-time dividends, and that is why the Detroit Red Wings will break their playoff drought. And like Spenny said, I wouldn't bet against them to win a series or two. It's the NHL playoffs. Anything can happen. Ask Tampa Bay and ask Boston.
And it's not just like you said, those moves, the big moves, or the moves that happened this year. It's the moves that he did last year.
Sure.
The guys he brought last year. The David Perrons,
yep.
The Ben Sherratts, the veterans, the hockey players, the NHL-level hockey players he brought in. And you look at, Dominic Kubalik. Man, we thought he was going to be great, right?
Yeah.
He's sitting at a whopping 17 points. 12 points. Philip Zadina, Neil's boy, no shots meant, sitting at 17 points this year. Like, Stevie identifies talent, he attacks talent, he pays for quality. He's not going to overpay for, like a Daniel Alfredson. He's not going to overpay for guys like that. This is Steve Yzerman. He knows what he's doing. He built this team from the ground up, literally ripped down the boards of what it was, planted the seeds, and made something new that is sustainable, that is the deepest team in the NHL, and that has the best farm system in the NHL.
Well, and can I say one thing too, because I forgot to even mention them, because I was talking more about the offense, but maybe the biggest offseason signing of them all, besides DeBrincat, of course, which was a trade, and then you can argue Patrick Kane, was Alex Lyon, who has played like one of the top half goaltenders in the league, and you saw how important he was last night versus Colorado, saving 30 out of 31 shots. And if you want to even go further back, in that game against Philadelphia when he pitched a shutout, he saved 30 of 30, and then that game against Tampa Bay, which they won, he saved 27 of 28. So the amount of moves the previous offseason, and even more so this offseason, to completely revamp this team to where they are in the driver's seat for the playoffs, bravo to Steve Yzerman. Bravo.
Because people don't understand that, and I don't get that. I don't get how when Yzerman walked in here, it wasn't like he was taking over an expansion team. There was a hole he had to dig out of. Like Brad Holmes had a hole he had to physically dig out of to get to ground level, to get to the he was below ground when he took this job. And in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Ryan says, we're still paying Abdelkader. Yes,
dog.
Justin Abdelkader, you will pay over $1 million to until 2026.
Spartan dog, get your cheddar.
And that's fine. But when you look at it, and that's not nothing.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
not.
especially in hockey, like the cap is what, $81 million. That's like 1.5% of your cap, man.
That's a Joe Valeno contract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not nothing.
And Joe Valeno's got 10 goals this year.
And you're paying him till 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Holland did that, left that behind. Franz Neal, we've been through it all, guys. Like, I talk about these things all the time. Brad Holmes, Trey Flowers, Jamie Collins, Jelani Tavai, $19 million to not play. When you walk in that door and you have to overcome that, people are like, how can you not get a team to the playoffs in 5 years? When you're below ground. That's unrealistic expectation if you're doing it right.
Well, the fact is that this is the 5th year, and the Red Wings are in the driver's spot to make the playoffs. The one thing I will say to defend some of the critics of Steve Yzerman, and this is a question that I'll pose to the room. There was a time, and I'm
going first.
I don't even want to revisit this because it was a time of uncertainty. I'm going back to December 31st of 2023 when the Red Wings, they looked like they were floundering a little bit, and we even talked about on this show they needed to play a stretch of great hockey, which they have. I told you, 13-4-2 in their last 18 games. Phenomenal. If it would have, for some reason, went the other way and the Red Wings would have kind of finished the season with a middling record, I think some criticism would have been valid. But the fact that we've seen them play great hockey and we're going to see them in the playoffs, that's what makes it okay. I know it took 5 years, but the fact that in year 5 they're going to make the playoffs, I think makes it all better.
You know why that happened, Flannel?
Why?
Because they have 12 guys with double-digit goals.
Yes.
You know why they have 12 guys with double-digit goals?
Stevie, why?
It's not because of the people Ken Holland brought here.
Yep.
And if my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike. Like, if they played bad, they would have got criticism, but they didn't, so they don't. It was just an amazing stretch of games. And guess what? What was that guy that he's coming off a serious injury that nobody comes back from? You know, he's washed, he's old,
Kaner.
He can't do it anymore. Yeah,
Kaner, I think they call him.
I think they call him Kaner. I think he's also known as Showtime, and I think he's also known as the best American-born hockey player in the history of the NHL. And I think he's also got 24 points in 25 games.
Yep. Tev Sauce, my car flag is on the way. We spawned a movement.
Let's go.
You better get him.
Season.
You better get him. We did that. You know what? Much like the Alex DeBrincat trade, where I take credit for it because I spoke it into existence, because I told you 8 months before it happened that it was going to happen.
I told you.
Hey.
Absolutely. I did that. Much like that, we have spawned Car flag season.
season.
We did this, everybody.